They said
Really?
it couldn't be
Sorry.
done. They said it
My
wouldn't
ear.
last.
God.
White man, black man,
hurt.
America
Anyways,
F1.
we're talking about the Brazilian Grand Prix today. We're thinking that was it the best race of the year so far?
America
Good race.
F1 coming
You
to
got to
you
give it
straight
up
from
to George
San
Russell.
Francisco,
My brother calls him
California.
one
Sherman
point
Tillman, Michael
because it took him
Baldwin.
3 years to
America
get a point.
F1.
Did.
But he drove a flawless race. Hats off to him.
Hats off to George Russell.
Down
He
with
was
the British.
crying. He's calling his mom.
Of course.
Calling his girlfriend. Like,
I won a race. I won.
I've finally done it. But you know what? The emotion comes out because
That's right.
all those years since he's been a little kid.
Yeah, he's been racing, driving around in circles.
Well, he doesn't drive in circles.
It's literally a circle, would it be?
It's not a circle, though.
Anyways, this is the one of the only tracks they race where they go left into turn one, which is another whole. Some of the people were complaining on the radio their necks hurt. So
yeah, I think Russell, when he turned his engine down a little bit, they were saying he was resting his neck on the back.
Yeah,
because his neck was hurting. So much.
It hurts.
Does it really hurt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The first time I went karting.
Here we go with the karting.
Yeah, like a week. It was like a week. My neck hurt for a week.
So in this race, they had everything. They had a lot of passing. Yeah. They had a lot of following. And
the safety car came out at the end and pushed everyone back together.
Which makes it exciting, right? They had the possibility of rain, but it did not rain. But then we had the crashes. We had Verstappen again crashing into Hamilton. We had Ricciardo, who in my opinion did probably the worst move I've ever seen. He just ran right into the back of Magnus.
Oh, did he?
I mean, just right into the back of him. And
now that happens.
Okay, and then we had Norris also crashing into Leclerc.
Oh no, that was Norris's fault. He hit the curb and slid into him. It was not on purpose, but it was his. He made the mistake. So,
but at a time when Mercedes is fighting, I mean not Mercedes, but McLaren is fighting Alpine. Both cars crash out of the race.
Yeah, that happened to Alpine a couple races ago, didn't it?
It did. It did. So let's talk about what the hell is up with Verstappen. I mean, what is his beef with Hamilton, and why does he race him differently than he races everybody else?
He knows he's got to beat him, and he's only done it. Well, he's done it twice. Well, he did it once.
Well, he really technically only did it once. Yeah.
Because he had the better car. He had the best car this year. The Red Bull's the best car. I don't know what happened to them during this race because they were not really all that competitive. I thought at the beginning of the race, I thought Perez was going to catch Russell and check out and Verstappen hit Hamilton and that screwed up both their races. Sort of, but Hamilton did finish second. So.
He did, but he probably, with his pace today, or that day at the Brazilian Grand Prix, I think he could have probably passed Russell.
No. You
don't think so?
No, because the Mercedes wouldn't have let that happen.
Why?
Money.
No, but they would have let him happen early in the race when there's, it's one of the longest races of the year, right? It's 81 laps or 71 laps.
Yeah,
right?
They're all. It's timed. It's not the.
Yeah, but the amount of laps is higher in the Brazilian Grand Prix than any other.
That track
it's a shorter track.
It's a shorter track.
But if we're on lap 15 and I'm closing in on you, they're going to let me pass you if I got the pace.
Well, not at the end of at the end, he only was near him at the end of the race when the safety car came out.
But he was near him in the beginning of the race until Verstappen crashed him out.
Yeah, but at the end of the race, they weren't going to let him. They were not going to let him pass him. So.
And what I hate is when Verstappen is interviewed at the end of the race, he just doesn't give a F. He just basically says, "Well, I knew I didn't have the pace today. So basically, I crashed into him to ruin his race." I mean, he basically said that. And then what I also didn't like is we know his teammate, Checo. Hey, Checo.
I don't think you should say it like that. But anyway.
Why would it mean?
Because his name is Checo.
But
it's
I just
a nickname. No, you said Checo
But that's
with
his
some
name.
lame accent or something.
What's wrong with my accent? I'm Carlos Sainz. Okay. Everything is okay.
I'm a smooth operator.
Let's dance. Let's dance.
Okay.
So what I want to expand on this point. So Verstappen is ahead, right? They let him pass Perez so he can hunt down, hopefully get past Vettel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But Perez is number 2 in the points. Now he's tied with Leclerc. He needed that point for second place. He asked if he could, the team had told Verstappen 4 times, let him pass. Let him pass.
And he wouldn't let him pass.
And he said no.
It's bizarre. That's a bizarre incident.
But not only did he say no, he's like, don't ask me again. And you know what happened, and I'm standing on it. So does he run the team, or does Christian Horner run the team?
At that moment in time, he ran the team. He's got the steering wheel in his hand. He's the boss, basically.
So how is that good for team dynamics if the driver runs the team?
I have no idea. That this is the reason that Ricciardo left the team.
Mm-hmm. Vettel left,
and then Vettel left long before Verstappen was even an idea in Formula One.
Right, but I'm just saying, is there something about the Red Bull dynamic that?
Oh, they have a toxic environment there for sure. Because they cut people like in the middle of the season. They did it like 3 times. They did it to Kvyat, they did it to Gasly, and they did it to Albon, where
Mm-hmm.
But none of those guys were good enough to be in that car. That's why they went out and they got Checo. Checo is the greatest number 2 driver. Him and Rubens Barrichello were the 2 best number 2 drivers. They know they're there.
Bottas was a good number 2 until last year. I thought he was a really good, reliable number 2.
Yeah, and you see him doing at Alfa Romeo. He's faster than his teammate all the time.
All the time. And actually, he gave on the radio. He actually gave a tip for Zhao. He's like, hey, this guy, you're trying to pass him, but he's slow right here. That's when you should make your move. He gave that over the radio. And I thought that was very commendable, but that shows team leadership. And if Max is a team leader, okay, he already has the championship sewed up.
I have no idea what he
has no reason not to let Perez by. Why do you always have your phone on when we do this? Why don't you ever put it on airplane mode? Why do we always have to hear that damn beep every time we do this? I mean, what the heck is that about?
What the heck? We're going to say what the heck today.
What the heck? We're going to say what the heck. We're going to say what the hell.
What the hell? Now that we're done talking,
wait.
What do you want to talk about?
Do you want to talk about anything about Ricardo and how bad that hit on Magnussen just ran right into him?
That happens sometimes.
Okay, that happens sometimes. That's the.
Or he's trying to destroy race cars because
professional commentaries. That happens sometimes. Tune in every week for the next week's episode where Mike gives another professional opinion other than tires. He says that happens sometimes. So what about when Norris hit your boy Leclerc? Were you pissed?
That was just a race. Norris made a mistake. He hit the curb and slid up into. It was a racing accident. He just made a mistake.
Were you surprised that Leclerc went all the way to the wall and still finished? What did he finish? Fourth.
It's because of the safety car he finished 4th.
But what a drive!
Yeah, maybe we'll give him the drive of the day. I was going to give Russell the drive of the day.
But we're not. Are we at drive of the day yet?
No,
I think we're at. We didn't talk about. Did you see the guy in the pit lane? Like your boy, Mick Schumacher, who's leaving. Next race will be his last race in Formula One.
Why he's sounding like Carlos Sainz? Anyways,
I'm Carlos Sainz.
A smooth operator.
I'm a smooth operator. I've been working on that, and I think it's very good.
No,
I think it's
both of us suck at
very
that.
good. Okay, so there's a guy in the pit lane. Here comes Mick Schumacher. He's ready to pit. There's a guy standing there from another team.
In the middle of the pit lane?
In the middle of the pit lane.
Did he have to stop or something?
He doesn't move.
Whoa.
And Mick has to go around him and then park his car to get his tires changed.
That's weird.
Now,
I don't remember that. I didn't see that bit.
Yeah. What's the penalty for that? And is that allowed, or aren't you supposed to stay
Was he in the pit lane?
I think it was Alfa Romeo. So Alfa Romeo is here.
Was he in the pit box?
And Haas is over there.
Was he in the pit lane,
right?
Or was he in the box?
Alfa's here. He's on the Haas's side. He's not in the box. He's to the side of the front of where you make the entry into the box. So sometimes you come in at a parallel like that, or sometimes you come in like that. But you could not go in like that because he was standing there.
That's weird.
But no one told him to move. Like, if you're on the team, if I'm at a house, I'm like, hey, bro, get the hell out of the way.
They can walk. They can actually walk across the pit lane. I don't think that's illegal, but maybe it will be.
Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes. Okay, what's next?
Is this the best race of the year? And tell me what race would be better if you can even remember.
Well, so many of these races this year were
with all those
just,
late nights and waking up, late.
What do you mean waking up late?
You wake up at like 10 o'clock. We're
I know,
supposed
I
to do the
got
show
up.
at 10:30.
I got home at like 1
you're
o'clock
like
in the
Elvis
morning.
Presley. You wake up at 10 o'clock.
Well,
and
bless my soul,
I'm
what's
ready
wrong
to do
with
a show. What time are we going to do it? Oh,
Anyways.
the show's supposed to be done at 10:30. Oh, how about 12 o'clock?
At 12 o'clock works better. It worked
Well,
better.
it works better. I got my sideburns.
I had to get up and do stuff.
Look at my sideburns. You do have sideburns.
My mutton chops.
Stop it.
Don't touch me, dear God.
So, best race of the year, and what race would be better?
I would say it was the best race of the year because somebody won besides Verstappen.
Yes. Georgie.
And George, he finally gets to win a race because I think he's one of the best drivers of the. I guess they're not new anymore. They've been around for a minute.
They're not new.
He unfortunately had to drive for the Williams team for 3 years, and then he gets to the Mercedes, and then the car isn't what it should be. But the Mercedes car came alive this weekend.
God, did it look great?
Because they were pretty good in Mexico, but the car looked really, really good. Like what I don't know what they did, or maybe it's this specific track.
There was no bouncing.
Yeah, there was no bouncing. None of the cars are doing that.
None of them.
None of them. Of course, you knew. I mean, I remember when there was a preview at the beginning of the season, and Peter Windsor was talking about
Peter Windsor.
The first practice.
Marry the guy already.
Anyways,
every week, Peter Windsor with this ring ID wed. When
they started the winter testing, all the cars were bouncing except for the Red Bull.
Yes.
And then the Red Bull just kept bringing stuff that always worked.
They brought stuff. Professional opinion. Michael
Stuff.
They brought
the bits and pieces that they brought to their car all year. I don't know what the Mercedes brought this last time, but they brought something.
They brought something.
Are
they over the cost cap?
Well,
did they go to the cost cap?
We've been down that rabbit hole before. I don't believe there is a cost cap. I think it's silly to think that these teams, like Red Bull, just signed a 5-year contract with Oracle for $100 million a year.
It's a lot of money.
And they can only spend $140 million.
You should get a job at Oracle, and then we can go to the paddock club for Oracle.
Hey, if Oracle's looking for a bartender, I'm looking for work.
Yeah, you should get a job at Oracle just so we can go.
Well, anyways.
Okay. Who is your driver of the day?
I'm gonna give it to Russell. I think he
really.
Yeah, he drove. Started in first, ended in first. He drove a flawless race. He didn't make any mistakes. He won the race. He led basically every lap. Right.
Started in first. Well, not every lap. Obviously, when he pitted, Hamilton was in the lead for a while. Sainz was in the lead for a while. But he started in first. He finished in first. I have a kind of a tie. I'm going to either go with Hamilton, who started in second, but was all the way down to ninth after being chucked by your boy Verstappen, or Verstupid as you call him. Verstupid. And then I'm pretty impressed with Leclerc, who was hit. Yeah,
he drove all the way back
by Norris, and he was like 14th or 15th.
I thought he was done when he hit the wall. He hit it pretty hard. All he had to do was change a wing, and that was it.
But everyone forgets about Leclerc. He was all the way back in the back of the pack, and he ended up finishing fourth, I think. Was it fourth?
Yeah, he was fourth.
So he ended up finishing fourth.
It's Mercedes, Ferrari.
Mercedes, Ferrari, and then Verstappen? No, it was
Alonso finished
who
fifth.
Also had a great drive, right?
Yeah, but he's Alonso. He's just he's one of those. He's like Vettel to me. It's like, why isn't he on one of the good teams? And next year he's going to another mid-pack team.
He's going to Aston Martin, yeah,
micromanaged by Lawrence Stroll.
Lots of money. That's
but he scares everybody off of that. They have a new factory opening up next summer.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. They built a brand new 300 or 400.
In England, or?
Yeah, it was right next to the old factory because they're based at Silverstone. They're right across the street from.
Oh,
but you didn't know that?
I did not know that. That's good. That's better than it happens.
It happens.
So let's talk about our conspiracy theory, if you have one. Here's your glasses. Let me see. All right, let me see what my glasses look like.
Max Verstappen, the Ferrari 2024. You heard it here first.
Okay, we've heard that before. Let's get a good conspiracy. My conspiracy theory is Verstappen has a picture of Lewis Hamilton on his wall at home. He throws darts at this wall. And any and every time he can run into Lewis, he's going to do it, and he doesn't care.
Well, he did the same thing at Imola, not Imola, but the Monza Grand Prix last year, where he drove over the top of Lewis and hit him in the head. And then he never apologized for it.
Well, he was trying to get out of his car, so he was okay. That's what he said.
Well, no, he said he went back. He said in front of the microphone, he's like, he didn't give me any room, and that's what happens when you.
There's a pattern with Verstappen. It's always somebody else's fault. They always need to give him room. He never backs out. He expects everyone else to throttle down and back out. He even said he went into turn 2 full throttle. He broke late. The telemetry showed that. The telemetry shows how fast he was going. The telemetry shows where his steering wheel was going. And then he couldn't make the next turn because he was too hot into turn 2. And instead of throttling down or slowing down to let Hamilton go, and then he would just come right in behind.
Oh, it was totally his fault. I mean,
but then if you're such the great driver that everyone says you are, there's 60 other laps. Why can't you just pass him then?
That's why he's called Verstupid. That's the whole point to his nickname. He does stupid stuff.
I'm going to take the nickname the Torpedo and take it away from Daniel Kvyat.
Kvyat.
Like Fiat the car?
This is horrible.
Like Fiat the car?
No.
Kvyat?
Kvyat.
Kvyat.
That's how you pronounce it. Anyways.
Okay, so
I'm
going to take that name and give it to Verstappen. Verstappen is Torpedo too.
No,
we can call him the Missile.
No, he's just Verstupid. Just leave it alone.
The nuclear missile?
No, I like the Torpedo's Daniel Kvyat's nickname. Sebastian Vettel gave him that one after he...
The Hurricane. How about the Hurricane?
God, that was so funny when
we call him the Hurricane?
No, we call him the Tornado.
Let's call him the Tornado. Because every time he's around somebody else, it's you don't back out, I'm running into you. Do you remember Ocon? When Ocon last year, Ocon was a back marker, unlapping himself.
No, that was a few years ago.
No, that was last year, wasn't it?
No, that was either...
Are you sure? I think that was last year.
No,
yes.
Ocon was racing for...
Ocon?
Ocon
was at Alpine.
No, he wasn't at Alpine. He was at Force India.
Okay, Ocon was at Force India. So that was not last year, that was 2 years ago?
I think it was 2019.
No, it wasn't that far.
Yeah,
no.
You look it up later and we'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
But yeah, he pushed him in the garage.
Way
that was totally Ocon's fault.
Back in the sun is way back machine.
Okay.
He did that, right? Ocon's a back marker. Verstappen, or Verstupid as you like to call him, is in the lead.
I know, and he tried to pass him, and
Would you let him go? Because he's not trying to win the race. You are.
That was Ocon's fault. It wasn't Verstupid's fault.
Okay, but what would you have done? You're leading the race.
Oh, I would have let him go by. I would have.
Right. That's the point.
It wouldn't even been a thought in my head.
Why would you let him go by, Mike?
Anyways, we're supposed to be talking.
Tell me why you would have gone.
Because I'm not stupid. I'm not. I came to win. I'm gonna win. Just here, going by, playing through.
Right.
But have we moved into babbling idiots?
I think we have.
Oh God, I can take these off.
I'm gonna keep these glasses on. You know why? Because I look cool. I got my racing stuff.
Yeah, motorcycle jacket from like the 1950s.
Yes, it's so cool. It feels so good.
It looks like a dork. So what's our babbling idiots today?
Apparently I'm babbling about how bad Verstappen is in wheel-to-wheel racing.
Yeah, we need to get off of Verstappen.
That's your guy.
No,
that's the guy you're always on.
No.
So I can't be on him. Only you can talk bad about it.
Why?
I have to talk
that's
about
right.
him in glowing forms.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
That's fine.
All right.
Okay, well
I'm not going to babble about that.
Did we do driver? Yeah, we did driver of the day.
I'm not babbling about that. I'm going to babble about something else.
Okay, the last race of the season is next.
Wait, you know I can babble about? What can you babble about? I can babble about
the Mercedes for about an hour going, what did they do to their car this week? To all of a sudden, it doesn't bounce anymore. They win the race. They come in first and second.
I think they've been bringing updates all along, and they're getting
Now
ready
there's
for next
something
year.
there's something wrong with the aerodynamics on that car because Lewis always says it's a very draggy car, and there's no real straightaways except for when you come on the front straightaway. That's kind of a straightaway, and then there's the one after the Senna S's. But it's not long enough for the Red Bull to do what it does. Like at Mexico, the Red Bull
speed.
The Red Bull just has the best aerodynamics this year. Usually, Adrian Newey's cars are super. They have the downforce, but this specific car doesn't. It has the straight line speed that most of his cars, because his cars never won at like when old Hockenheim was around and Monza. Those are the big power circuits where they put the little itty bitty wing on the back. And
well, I'm gonna babble about what it means to be a teammate.
There's no teammates in Formula One.
Because did you hear that Leclerc was asking that Carlos Sainz, who drove a fantastic race, and matter of fact, it was Sainz who finished.
Well, they should have
on the podium at third.
Yeah, they should have let Leclerc by because he's going to finish second in the points.
Here you go with that stupid phone. I mean, turn it on.
I'm turning the phone off. Calm down.
Do you know how to do it?
Yes, I know how to do it.
You know how to do it? You need help.
You need help.
You need help. Look.
Okay, done. God.
All right. It's annoying too. At least get a better tone. You know,
I like that tone. I can
put one of your songs on there.
I don't want to put one of my songs on.
Put a guitar riff on there.
Anyways.
So Leclerc was actually asking.
When they should have let him by.
No way!
Why?
Sainz had such a great race.
So what?
Why would you let him do that?
Because you don't understand that this is all about money. It's about money. It's not about, like, who cares if he gets comes in third, you lost.
Yeah, but the team doesn't get any more money.
Yeah, they do.
For your indivital, they
get
get money for where they finish. The
constructors. But the constructors, I mean, still, it's like, Sainz isn't going to finish second in the points, but Leclerc can. It was like, just let him by. And like Verstappen didn't let Perez by. That made no sense whatsoever.
No sense. You should have let him by.
But it's like it was a team order, and this is what Ferrari always does. They make bad decisions all the time.
So you think they should have let him by?
Oh, hell yeah. Why do you think? Didn't you hear Leclerc's sound in his voice on the radio?
Yeah,
by the way,
he was begging.
Conspiracy theory. Leclerc to Mercedes 2024. You heard it here first.
No, not going to happen.
Anyways,
I think they would take Norris before they take Leclerc.
Well, no, Norris turned down the Red Bull ride, which we found out the other day.
We did find that out. Or you found that out.
That was crazy.
Good. That was good on your part. When we were talking about the Sainz and Leclerc thing, I just recall that Verstappen had said the reason why he did not let Perez by is because he thinks that Perez parked his car and crashed his car on purpose in Monaco.
He might have,
but that's what he's saying. He's saying he did it on purpose. So is that vindictive? Like, does that really matter? You've already won the championship, bro.
Like I said, he does this stuff every once in a while where he makes a bad decision. That was a dumb decision, and nothing's going to happen to him because he's the Red Bulls guy.
So behind closed doors, Perez is there, Verstappen's there, Christian Horner's there, and
they have a 2-hour debriefing after all these races, so they were sitting this close to each other.
And Perez was like, "You're an asshole."
Oh. Perez was not happy. You heard him on the radio, and he's the guy. He knows what his role is because remember he was on hoopty teams for 10 years of his career where he had no chance of winning.
Right, and he said that Verstappen won 2 years in a row, but it's because of me and what I did.
Basically, yeah, you have to have. That's the whole point of the team is you have to have a number one and a number two, and everyone remembers the Mercedes team and for the 3 years when they had the best car in the world and the two best buddies from childhood are supposedly still hate each other's guts to this day. So.
Yeah, I don't blame them. Okay, so that's it for what do you think about this last race coming up, and what do you expect to see?
I expect the Red Bull to win. It's lots of long.
What?
Yeah, the Red Bull's going to win. It's a lot. There's lots of long straights on this track, and there's a high speed corner. They put that high speed corner. When they used to have that hoopty on the back.
So Lewis Hamilton is not going to win this last race, so he can have one race win.
He could win
every year that he's been in Formula 1.
But you're going to see the Mercedes is going to qualify 5th and 6th.
That's your prediction?
Yeah, it's going to be either the
Behind Ferrari
yeah.
and Perez?
Yeah, and the other thing about the Ferrari is their development this year has sucked.
It's horrible.
They had the best car at the beginning of the year. They were faster than everybody. I think they got the best engine too, but I don't see anything different on the car. I don't see
There's a rumor they're gonna fire a Benedella. That's the rumor.
That's not. It's not.
That's the rumor.
It's not.
He's gonna go.
They fire everybody when if they get close. Like when they fired Arrivabene in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari should have won the championship in 2018. They had the best car,
Yes.
and they just made mistakes.
Is that the year of the super hyper fast engine? Or was
Yeah.
that 2019?
Because 2019 it got taken away.
So 2018 is when it had the fastest engine ever seen to man, and because you said they're burning the oil or something like that.
They did something. There was something.
And then once they found out and took it away into the secret,
They lost
documents
50
that
horsepower
nobody
instantly.
could see. They just got destroyed.
Yeah, but that was at the end of the 2019 season when they took away their horsepower advantage, and then they were not anything until this year. So that's how far back on the foot they were. But now they don't. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's been like this ever since Schumacher left. When Schumacher left, and all the pieces to that puzzle, the band broke up.
But do you think they should have kept the band together?
Oh, I think in 20
they had Vettel, that team.
They should have kept Arrivabene running the show. They should have kept Vettel. They should have kept Raikkonen, and I remember in 2019 they put Leclerc in the car, and he won the first Grand Prix that year or so.
That's right.
And he passed Vettel when they told him not to.
But
So
I like Leclerc. I think he has the moldings of a champion. The one things he has to do, he has to be a little bit more
he's
consistent.
not going to win a championship at Ferrari.
He has to be more consistent.
He needs to go to Mercedes.
What?
He's got to go to Mercedes.
Why does everybody have to go to Mercedes?
It's the only team that could beat Red Bull right now. That's it. They're the only ones. Ferrari is not going to beat Ferrari. I mean, they're never going to. Ferrari is never going to win with the way they have their team set up. Right?
Really?
They make too many goddamn mistakes, and the car hasn't been the car hasn't been developed this year.
And so, whose fault is that? Is that the team principal's fault when your car's not
Hell
developed?
yeah, he's the leader.
Or is that the engineer's fault because they don't know what the hell they're doing?
They know what they're doing. That's the problem. They don't. It's the person at the top always. And you have to have consistency. Look at the Red Bull team. Who has been the principal of the Red Bull team the whole time? Christian Horner.
Yeah, Ginger
We
Spice.
hate Christian Horner. We hate the British, but he is the leader of the team. That team they never make mistakes, and when they do make a mistake, it doesn't matter because they've already either won a championship or they've already lost the championship.
Right.
So
I mean, they do make mistakes.
Everybody makes
mistakes, except I think they make the least amount of mistakes.
That's the whole point. That's how you win championships. Period.
Now, I've always thought that whoever Vettel's guy was, his race director, to me was the best strategist I've ever seen.
Oh, that is Jacques Leclerc.
I mean, he's the top of the top. And if Vettel,
well,
is he still doing Vettel right now?
No. He's Leclerc's engineer. So, and he was the race he was Jacques Villeneuve's race engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was Jenson Button's race engineer too.
Okay.
Because he was at Honda for a long time, and then he went to Ferrari, and he was Vettel's guy but he was I don't know if he was Vettel's race engineer at Ferrari. I think he was the race director at the time.
Well,
but now he's back to being an engineer, which is what he's the best at, or the crew chief in NASCAR. He is like one of the best ever, but he's like he's not running the team. He's just in charge of his specific car.
So does Ferrari go outward or inward to look for a new leader?
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to fix whatever they got. Whatever's broken over there is broken. Something's broken. You can't have the most successful team in the history of Formula One. It'd be like the Yankees every year not making the playoffs. You know, that's how I would look at it. The Yankees should be in the playoffs every year. They have the most money. They have the biggest market in the world.
Right.
The World Series every year should be the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees.
If money mattered. But
Money
doesn't,
does matter.
because cohesiveness matters.
Well, and the randomness of
you
the
know,
playoffs, you can get hot and beat
right.
anybody.
But
It all comes down to pitching. So, but anyways,
all right.
the Ferrari issue is, I don't know. They need someone to go in there and run the show, and that's why a lot of people said they didn't like Benny, because he was like, I guess he was a screamer and he was a dictator, and sometimes that works because his team. Remember, he brought that team back from.
He did, from the depths of hell.
Yeah, I mean, when Vettel went there, they were floundering, because remember, Alonso quit because he's like, the car's a second off the pace.
Right.
You know?
And then he goes to McLaren, where the car is like 20 seconds off the pace.
But they were paying him like $40 million a year.
That car was probably one of the worst cars I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was weird because they said
it was so bad.
The chassis, they said the car itself was good, but the engine was it was 50 horsepower off the pace, or maybe more. You know, and they couldn't turn the engine up.
He's, guys, I want to retire the car. Guys, I want to retire the car. Why? It's like driving a GP2 car.
Oh man, yeah. The Honda people were hot over that because it went on TV.
Right.
So
over the air. I don't think
that's why he couldn't go. He couldn't go to Red Bull because they were going to put him in Red Bull a couple years ago instead of Perez. But
really?
but the Honda people were like, we're not putting him in the car and him screaming about.
Huh.
But remember, he did.
You know, every once in a while, instead of coming up with some dumb, well, that's how it is, you come up with some gems. You know, you really do. You come up with some things that even I haven't heard, and it's very interesting and educational sometimes.
Yep, that's why they call me. That's why I'm
there's the opposite. Well, you know,
and then we have mouth over here.
Yeah,
so.
that's fine.
Okay, on that note, we're gonna
lemonade.
We're gonna do a race preview of the Brazilian. Oh no, Abu Dhabi. Oh, that's right. We get
it's
to
like
see
Freddie Flintstone.
It's 11 o'clock at night on Saturday. But anyways, we'll see you next time on America F1.
America F1.
Oh.
Yeah. And
what?
Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi. Dabba do. Yeah, I like that, huh? Mm-hmm. Look at that. Look at that. We're like,
press that button, turn that off, so